Hello, welcome to week 3. This is Dr. Carola Fortner, your instructor, and this week we have a focus on infancy, on the culture, on baby William, and an annotated bibliography. Let's take a quick look here. When we're looking at our modules, we are seeing our overview. And the reason why I click this is I want to let you know real quickly that there are some really important resources here for this week. So there is a baby article about rituals from around the world and typical and untypical development. Here is, and here are a couple videos on annotated bibliographies and something about linguistics. So get back to what is going on this week. Let's see here. Well, infant development is so important because we're laying foundations for the social, the emotional, and the cognitive development of a person. And the influence is huge. Any investment that we have at this time makes such a big difference. And as a child psychologist, having done lots of therapy with little kids, when I go back to taking the intake and the history of a child, when there are children with trouble, oftentimes something is already in trouble or something that's significant that happened very early on. My sister has adopted 2 children. She lives in Nicaragua, and she has adopted 2 children who ended up, as it turned out, with very, very traumatic histories. They're now adults and wonderful people, but they still, as adults, struggle with the influence of their infant and early childhood development. So this is an important time. We will take a look at baby William, and you get a chance to assess at that case study a situation with some of the knowledge that you've read about. As I said, don't miss the extra information under week 3 as an example of how influential the bonding, the attachment, the attunement and responsiveness of the caregiver is the still face experiment. If you take a look at this and watch this video, there is some really interesting commentary by Dr. Edwin Tronick, and you get to have a first sense of how important that attunement is. And that's where really, if you are working with families with young babies, a lot of your work will be to support that relationship, that attunement, that interaction between the caregiver and the child. So let's take a look at other work here this week. One of the things that you have to do is to find 3 articles in the Hatch Library database, or 3 scholarly articles, and some of you had no trouble with this and some of you have had some trouble with this. So here is actually a video from the Hatch Library that shows you exactly what to do and how to find these articles. If you have any question whether or not one of the articles that you're using is actually a scholarly article, please feel free to send me a message and with a link to the article, and I'll be happy to tell you if that article is in fact scholarly, or help you maybe find one of your articles to give you a head start. So as always, have a good week. Feel free to ask me for help, and have a learn about infancy, such an important part of human development.